Hey, what's going on? This is Troy, and this is the Planet 76 podcast, your source for Sixers news, highlights, hot takes, and more. Welcome to the show. All right, welcome everybody to Planet 76, a podcast about your Philadelphia 76ers. I am one of your co-hosts, Troy, and I've got Michael with me. Michael, what's up?
Let's go.
You ready for part 3? This is part 3 of our season recap on your Philadelphia 76ers. So far, so good, I guess. The only problem with doing a season recap is that the NBA Finals are still going on. And, you know, we would have loved to do our recap a little later in the season.
Yes.
But here we are, week 3, part 3 of that. Again, this is Planet 76. If you're new to the pod, make sure you hit that subscribe button for us. You can have episodes like automatically in your library, which is pretty dope. It helps us out, helps you out to know what's going on with the pod. You can watch on YouTube if you're interested in that. Other than that, tell a friend, tell somebody, get the word out there. We talk about the 76ers on a weekly basis.
Yes.
All things Sixers. We don't hold back. We give our opinion. We give some honest stuff about just general grades on the season, what we feel the Sixers should do, stuff like that. So be sure to tune in for further episodes. So Michael, this is part 3. So what did we do? If you want to give the people a reason to go back and listen to parts 1 and 2, what were those episodes about?
Yes. So I think in our first season recap episode, was that the one that you did by yourself, or was that?
No, we did that one. Yeah, we did that one.
We both did that. What did we do for that one? I know our last episode was that regular season grade?
Yeah,
yes.
last episode.
First episode was
mostly
just talking about recapping the season overall. We didn't really talk playoff. Well,
a little bit.
I think we did a little bit.
A little bit. I'm trying to remember too.
Yeah. And then our most recent episode, which was the second episode in our season recap, we did regular season grades for each player, where we gave each player from the Sixers roster a grade. I used the grades I posted on my Instagram, and I was congruent with that. I kept with the same grades that I posted on my Instagram. And then tonight, I guess technically, we're going to be giving our playoff grades. So basically, it's going to be a culmination of both rounds of the playoffs. We're going to talk about what we would grade each player from the Sixers based on their performance, production, etc. Mm-hmm. So that's the plan.
That's the plan.
Yes.
And then, of course, we got to talk about our favorite guy in the offseason, Mr. Benjamin Simmons.
Yes.
He will be featured on pretty much every episode, but in a big way today, too. We'll give some off-season updates, that kind of thing. Speaking of the NBA Finals, though, since we mentioned that a minute ago, Bucks and the Suns. Suns took 2 at home. Then the Bucks came back, kind of like they did against the Nets, and won 2 to defend their home courts. 2-2, heading back to Phoenix for Game 5, either Friday or Saturday. Here coming up. Today's the 15th, a Thursday. So here in a couple days, Game 5. That's going to be a big one. I mean, you picked the Bucks. I picked the Suns. How are you feeling?
I'm sticking with it.
Yeah.
Bucks in 7.
Yeah.
I'm sticking with it. Gotta stay with it.
So what one do you think they'll steal on the road? 5 or 7?
Well, a lot of people like to say whoever wins Game 5 is going to win the series.
Yep.
So I'm going to be bold. I'm going to say the Bucks will win Game 5.
There you go. Bucks
now they weren't they down 2-0?
Yeah.
So winning 3 in a row, I mean, that's going to be tough.
Yeah.
But if the Bucks want to win the series, in accordance with that phrase that a lot of people like to use, they got to win Game 5.
Yep.
So I'm going to say Bucks
Okay.
take Game 5.
And then you got to think that, I mean, again, as tough as it is to get 3 straight, it's going to be tough to get 4, but that they can close it out at home. It's always tough going down 2-0. I mean, because according to the math, you got to win 4 out of 5. So they put them in a tough spot. They got 2 done, so props to them. I hope it goes 7-2. I just, I would definitely be tuned into that. Giannis had a crazy monster block yesterday on Ayton, I think.
That was awesome.
Late in the game, it was phenomenal.
Alley-oop, yeah.
Yep. So be tuned into that. So off-season Sixers notes. Only a couple things I got. I saw something today. I didn't read too much into it. I saw it literally 30 minutes ago. Tobias Harris possibly joining Team USA.
Yep,
I don't know if you know any more about that. Bradley Beal, is he hurt? What's going on? I don't even know.
I think he got called into the health and safety
Oh,
something.
okay.
So he's probably not going to be eligible to play in the Olympics. So
Okay,
they're
that makes
looking for
sense.
a replacement. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so it could be Tobias. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure that word will be coming here soon. I think it was just extended an invite so far. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then Matisse, our lone Australian player in the Olympics, is playing really well. He had a nasty block on KD in an exhibition game. Team USA, not sure what their deal is. We ain't got time for that. But Matisse is looking good. You know, he hit a couple tray balls. He's scoring a bit. Of course, getting his steals and playing well on the defensive end. So anything else? That's what I got. I don't know about you. Off season right now, other than Ben Simmons, or is it just Ben Simmons?
Well, I mean, pretty much those two things are some nice updates that we got in terms of the Sixers. Obviously, not a whole lot going on right now because technically the season's still going on,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times major things don't really happen during the season.
Yeah.
But with the draft coming up, free agency soon after, we should be getting some things rolling in very soon. Honestly, the draft is in like 2 weeks, I think. Today's a little less than 2 weeks. So hopefully we get some news / updates soon.
Yeah, I think you're right. There'll be some action here cooking up not long after the season ends. I mean, it's kind of what the whole 72-game weird kind of season like last year too. I mean, we jump right into end of season into off season here in just a little bit. So let's talk about him. Ben Simmons. I think you've posted about him recently. Go figure. I'm trying to think of what it's been. A lot of like mock trades, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been getting into fights with people on Instagram? Like, what's the latest on your end as far as Ben Simmons goes?
Oh my gosh. Well, to put it short, a lot of people get angry at me when I say that the Sixers might keep Simmons. Mm-hmm. They get angry at me because people are on the boat of no, Simmons absolutely has to go no matter what, and they don't understand that if the deal isn't right, the Sixers aren't trading Simmons. I think we need to get that out of the way now, so that if Simmons is still here come October, whenever the season starts, it's not a big surprise, and we know why.
Mm-hmm.
If the deal isn't right, Simmons is not getting traded, and the more deals and the reports that are not true that get like the deals that these deals fall through,
mm-hmm.
The less it seems that Simmons is getting traded. And obviously it's still early. It's technically not the off season yet, like we just talked about. So there's still a lot of time for things to develop and unfold. But right now, based on these quote unquote reports that are coming out, which I do quotes because we don't know if they're real. We don't know if these reports are true.
Yeah.
Based on the reports that are coming out, again, quotes, it seems like a lot of teams are staying put with their players and staying put in their positions for keeping their players as opposed to trading them for Ben Simmons. Because certain teams apparently want to be in the Simmons sweepstakes, but
I was about to hit
they're
on
not
that.
willing. Yeah, they're not willing to give up enough to get Ben Simmons. So if you're not willing to give up enough to get Ben Simmons, you're not getting Ben Simmons. It's that simple. Like you can say that this team wants Ben Simmons. Oh, this other team wants Ben Simmons. That's great. That's awesome. Every team, not every team, but I'm sure a lot of teams want Ben Simmons. But there's a difference between teams wanting Ben Simmons and teams putting up enough to get Ben Simmons. Because as we know, Ben Simmons still has a very high trade value. So it's gonna take a nice haul to get him, whether it be an all-star like Darren Morey mentioned, or whatever the case may be. You're gonna have to give up a nice amount to get Simmons.
Yeah, exactly. And to piggyback on that, and then I do have a follow-up question relating to Ben Simmons for you. But to piggyback on that, I forget. I know one. The Kings. You see something. The Kings want Ben Simmons. Oh wait, the Kings are not willing. Allegedly, quotes, are allegedly not willing to give up De'Aaron Fox, aka the Kings are not getting Ben Simmons.
You're not getting Simmons if you're not willing to give up a player like that.
And then maybe the Timberwolves.
Yeah, the Timberwolves apparently, again, quotes, want Simmons, but they're not willing to give up D'Angelo Russell. Well, guess what? You're not getting Ben Simmons.
Yeah,
it's not happening.
And I wouldn't want that anyway.
They're certainly not trading Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah.
They're not going to trade D'Angelo Russell.
Then you're not getting him. And even if they were
what else
willing
are you
to
gonna
give up
give us?
D'Angelo Russell, they're not like their chances of getting Ben. I
Yeah.
feel like aren't that great anyway.
Yeah.
Again, Ben much higher trade value than people like to think.
Yes.
But yeah, the Timberwolves, it's like they want him badly. They want him badly, but they're not willing to do this. That means they don't want him badly. That's literally what that means.
If you want it badly, you can give up enough to get him, but you don't want to. So
exactly,
you're stuck.
And then my question for you was, so in relation to, so immediately after Game 7 a month ago, you see, I mean, everyone coming at Simmons. People still are. The SBs coming at Simmons. Sixers fans, like you mentioned.
A ton of Sixers fans, especially
like
ones that follow me and comment on
and
my posts.
They're saying they want him gone. So would you say that there has been little to no change in like people that you've interacted with around the Philadelphia 76ers in terms of like, a month ago to now, like their desire to trade Ben Simmons? Have you seen any change from anybody, or is it kind of the people that wanted to trade him a month ago, or the same people that want to trade him now?
Well, I think there's definitely some people now that are kind of realizing the things that personally that I'm saying about Simmons, about his value and the fact that if the deal isn't right, that Simmons isn't going anywhere. I think a lot of people are starting to align with that group, however big or small it is. But there's still a lot of people that want Simmons gone no matter what, and they absolutely hate Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
There's always that group is always going to exist. There's always going to be the anti-Simmons crowd no matter what.
Fair.
No matter what. And that's fine. You don't have to. You're allowed to have an opinion. It's just that
you're wrong.
No, not wrong. It's just that like there's more. There's this. I wouldn't say the same amount of people. I would say maybe more people, but there's also more people going to the side of yes.
Like, kind of coming to their senses a little bit.
Yeah. If the deal isn't right, Simmons is probably staying. I feel like there's over the last few weeks, there's been more and more people who have sort of aligned themselves with that with that line of thinking.
Yeah, I saw a tweet yesterday that said, we have Daryl Morey, one of the top execs, smart, can get good deals for himself, and then you've got all these mock trades, 95% or something like this. 95% of these mock trades are Daryl Morey losing a trade to a lower level GM, exec, whatever you want to say.
That's exactly. People don't realize Daryl Morey is insanely smart. He's very intelligent when it comes to the NBA. He's pulled off some very good trades in his tenure as a GM for the Rockets, might I add, and for the Sixers. Yep. He's not going to get fleeced. He's not going to get finessed for Ben Simmons. He's going to get equal or enough value for Ben Simmons. It's not going to happen. He's not going to get outsmarted by anyone.
Yep. So are you... I know the answer, but for the people, are you still team Damian Lillard or nothing?
This is the thing that I've gotten the most heat for on my page.
Okay.
Oh, you don't want to trade for Bradley Beal? Oh, you don't want to trade for Zach LaVine? I won't deny that these players will probably make the Sixers better if Simmons is traded for them, but they won't make us as good as Damian Lillard will. So if you're going to go all in and give away Simmons, why would you not go all in for Damian Lillard? Because Damian Lillard will undeniably put us over the top. Like, he will give us the best team possible. And I know it looked like that entering the playoffs with this team right now. Obviously, that was very wrong, but you're getting Damian Lillard. I mean, I don't have to say anything else. It's Damian Lillard. So, yes, Bradley Beal might make us better by a little bit. Zach LaVine might make us better by a little bit because, we will have a perimeter scorer in both of these guys. But I'm just
don't know about that,
I'm just still like, are these guys going to put us over the top? That's my main question. Are these guys going to get us to the finals? Does this player make us a championship team? And when I look at Bradley Beal and Zach LaVine, I say I'm not sure. I don't think so. That's why I say what I say. When I look at Damian Lillard, I say absolutely yes, 100%. It's a no-brainer, and I feel like that's the thing that you have to be able to say about a player if you're going to give up Simmons for him, Ben Simmons for him. When you talk about equal value, that's what that means.
Yep. Well said. And I think in terms of, okay, you have Ben Simmons, you have Bradley Beal, you have Zach LaVine. Each of those, to me, like, if you're talking about championship contender, like where the Sixers are at in that process with those three guys, like, I'm kind of even. I don't personally, I mean, I don't know, it could be wrong, we'll see if it even happens, but I don't see Bradley Beal, as you mentioned, taking us over the top.
Yeah.
I don't even necessarily see him being better for our team.
Yeah.
Would I love that Bradley Beal on the
fair
76ers? Yeah, but, and I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, my biggest concern with getting a Bradley Beal or Zach LaVine is just not having a point guard.
Someone to run the offense. Not even like a facilitator, but someone to run the offense. Someone that you can run the offense with at an elite level. Like, are Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal elite enough players to run an offense? Yes, we know they're elite scorers, but that doesn't always necessarily translate to running an offense at an elite or even a championship level.
Yeah, so I don't think so, and it makes you nervous because if you get a guy like that and you leave Ben and we don't go get like a veteran point guard, hypothetically, Shake or Tyrese is running the offense.
Yeah.
Kawhi, you don't feel great about that if you've been following the Sixers for a number of years because Ben Simmons does so much for this team, running the break, getting 7, 8, 9 assists a game. Transition, he's amazing, and he can find scores. He's like the number one guy assisting on threes in the league. You lose a huge element of your offense. Now you get, again, 25 points a game from a Bradley Beal or a Zach LaVine.
Yes.
You lose a lot.
And again, these guys...
And I don't know if it's worth it.
Yeah, again, these guys elite in terms of scoring, shooting, putting the ball in the basket, yes. Very obviously these guys can do that. But are these players equipped enough to run an offense at an elite level? I don't know. I'm not sure. When you look at championship caliber guards, I mean, maximizing Dame's talent gets him to the level of a championship guard. Luka, if you want to count LeBron, whatever, Steph Curry. These players, Steph Curry more than anyone because he's literally he's historic. But these players can run an offense. Obviously, they're great scorers, but they can also run an offense. The offense runs through them.
Mm-hmm.
Damian Lillard, he is the offense. Even though we have Embiid, the offense runs through Dame. Like, Embiid would be our main scorer probably still, but our offense would run through Damian Lillard, no doubt about that.
Yeah. And I have no issue with that.
No.
Another guy we can throw into the conversation with Bradley Beal, Zach LaVine is Damian Lillard's teammate and C.J. McCollum.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing. I don't think he's as prolific a scorer as a Bradley Beal.
No, he's not.
But same concept. He's not going to run the offense. He's not going to do it like Damian Lillard can. And so I'm with you. To all the trust the love haters out there, I'm standing with this guy. And I'm telling you, man, you got to get Damian Lillard if you can get him. And if you can't, let's run it back. I don't know. We can work on other pieces. There's a lot that we're going to talk about in the offseason is how Sixers can
There's
be
so
better,
much
how
the
they can
Sixers
improve.
could potentially do.
Yeah. So, we'll get into all that. But let's just jump in. Let's keep going with some playoff recaps. So, let's see. Sixers won their first series in 5 games. No issues there. Sixers dropped a Game 7 to the Atlanta Hawks. Games before that were rough. Game 5 being the worst. Might have broken something into my house after Game 5. Just saying. Game 6. Also, what was that? Game 6 we won.
Yeah, to force
in Atlanta.
Game 7.
To force Game 7. Never thought we would have to force a Game 7 back at home, but we did. And then Game 7 couldn't get the job done. Very tightly contested game. Got away from us at the end. A few turnovers from Embiid. Ben Simmons passing up on the layup. All that other stuff. But Sixers made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals. Went as far as we did. to the game against the Toronto Raptors 2 years prior. And so we haven't known a Sixers team since 2000, 2001 to get to the Eastern Conference Finals at least. And, we're still waiting. And we're the 1 seed this year.
Man.
Disappointment. If you've listened to episodes prior, you feel that. You know that. You get that even from us. But let's just talk about the season. And we'll start. You want to start out with, like, playoff grades and then go to just what went wrong kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a couple obvious glaring areas that went wrong. So we can definitely do that. But yeah, let's just start with the grades. I have mine up right here that I made for my my page.
All right, let's run it. You go ahead and run that, and then I'll fill in as needed.
Sweet. So I'm gonna start with the bench. And some people did not like my grades, which I felt these grades were pretty fair and accurate, but
Okay.
I think you'll see why. So I'm gonna start with the bench. Starting off, I didn't do Mike Scott because he would have got an F minus. George Hill got an F. Pretty plain and simple. He played horribly in the playoffs. I was not impressed with him at all.
I was impressed with him at a moment. I think it was early in the Washington series.
Okay.
That was
fair.
That was it.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Tyrese Maxey, I gave a C. A lot of people were mad about that.
C.
People were like, "Oh, you should have given him a B," but most I would go up a C plus.
Okay.
I did like I did like Tyrese
fair.
Maxey. He surprised me a lot this season. He had a great season overall, so I feel like that's pretty fair. Dwight, I gave a B.
So Tyrese averaged 13 minutes, 6 points, couple boards, an assist in the playoffs. Only 13 minutes a game. I didn't realize that. I thought he played a little more. All right. Who you got?
Dwight, I gave a B. People were also mad about. People get mad about everything. I gave Dwight a B. People were like, "Oh, he played horribly. He should have got C plus." I mean, cut me some slack. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. But
This isn't prime Dwight anymore.
True. It's Dwight.
What's our expectation?
Dwight played pretty well in the playoffs. I think he was very similar to his regular season self. Maybe not as good, but he still played his role very well. He still was pretty good in the playoffs.
Less minutes.
Yeah.
Only 12 minutes.
Exactly.
And I don't know he averaged 8 and 8 or 8 and 9 in the regular season in 17 minutes. Yeah. I believe we said that in our last episode. And so in 12 minutes, 5 points, 4 boards, 5.6 boards. So you average that out with proper minutes. I mean, he's about on season average. So.
Yeah. So. Dwight. Yeah, I gave Dwight a B. Yes.
One more on the bench.
I had 3 more actually. Because we technically ran 10.
Oh, yeah.
We were running 10 or 11 guys at one point, so it was kind of hard to keep track
and we will talk about that in a minute.
And then, so next, Shake Milton, I gave him a C. I feel like this is probably the fairest grade I've given so far.
Okay. Shake Milton a C. And what is he without the Shake Milton game 2?
Probably lower, honestly, because that he arguably won us the game, so that boosts his grade a lot. So
for sure.
So he'd probably be a D something, probably like
C minus, D plus,
probably, yeah. Speaking of C plus, 2 players I gave a C plus on the bench. The only 2 left.
Okay.
Matisse Thybulle and Furkan Korkmaz. I gave both of them a C plus. I feel like they played very well in the playoffs. And I mean, you maybe could have given. Some people said I should have given Furk a B, but I feel like C plus is fair. I really do, honestly.
Yeah, I mean they each played. I got the stats right here. They each played all 12 games. Furk started 4 of which, obviously Danny Green going down. Matisse started 1 game, 18 minutes for Tease. Furkan got 16 minutes a game, 7 points. So not too shabby there. I'm with you there.
Yes. So, let's move into starting lineup. I'll go in order from lowest to highest. Well, yes. I think okay. So Ben Simmons, he was my lowest grade in the starting lineup.
Okay.
I gave him a C. Now a lot of people are mad at me about that, saying I should have given him a D plus, should have given him an F. Now and people didn't. I said it's my playoff grades, not first round or second round. The culmination of the entire playoffs, the 12 games of the playoffs, is what I use to grade these players. If it was the second round, yeah, I may have given him a D plus because he was not great in the second round. But if it was the first round, I would have given him a B, or not a B, maybe like a C plus. So it evens out. So I gave him a C. I feel like that's fair. I feel like that's very fair.
So I think that's fair. I think that's
exactly.
fair. I wouldn't have gone lower. And the stat, I just noticed this. I guess I didn't break down the stats that much right after the season. Ben's assist to turnover ratio jumps off the freaking page. So 12 games, his assist to turnover ratio was nearly 4 at 3.9. Wow. So he averaged nearly 9 assists and just over 2 turnovers a game, which is just, that's great. If he didn't struggle at the free throw line, if he didn't, do some mental stuff, whatever, I personally think we're sitting here, and again, that's a big part of the game. Ben Simmons shot 30-something% from the free throw line. That's an issue. But outside of that, and outside of some shooting woes, and he think about the guys he had to defend for 2 series. You got guys like Russell Westbrook, you got Bradley Beal, you got Trae Young, who shot god awful in Game 7.
5 for 23.
6 for 20 something. 5 for 23.
I always remember that number for some reason. Every time someone's like, "Oh, Trae Young," I'm like, "Oh, he shot 5 for 23 in an elimination game." Just saying. 5
for 23. 5 for 23. Ben, his rebounds and assists were over regular season average. His points were down, of course, 33 minutes a game. But all in all, I think a C's fair. I think higher is not. So I think we're good there.
So next, I'm gonna go Danny Green. Give him a C plus. Now, you may think it's not fair because he didn't play second round, but what he did in the first round was, I think he was very good in the playoffs. He wasn't great. He was definitely good. He had some nice. I guess he was pretty consistent. And I gave him a C plus. Yeah. I feel like that's pretty fair. I tried to be as fair as possible, like I said, and I gave him a C plus. So, yeah. Yeah.
To me, in his 8 games played, he was pretty consistent with who he was in the regular season. So, yep.
All right. So we got 3 left. Tobias Harris.
I'm curious as who is hot. Are these guys the same level, Tobias and Seth, or one higher than the other?
One higher than the other. It was.
All right.
I wanted to go higher, but I gave Tobias a B. You could maybe say B plus, but I erred towards the side of a B.
Maybe if he didn't drop 4 points in Game 5.
He definitely had some stinkers, I will say. So that was part of it. But again, I feel like Tobias Harris definitely was better in this year's playoffs than he was last year. I would have probably given him a D plus last year, maybe a C. So
22 points a game, 8.5 boards.
He had an amazing first round of the playoffs. So a lot of that has to do with this has to do with the first round as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think B plus range. 22 points a game from Tobias Harris is good.
Yeah, for sure. So, 2 left, obviously. Seth Curry, Joel Embiid. Now, I gave... What's higher, an A or an A minus? Okay, good. I was just making sure I forgot about that. So, Seth Curry gave an A minus. Joel Embiid gave an A. I did not give... Okay. Now, I gave Joel Embiid an A plus in my regular season grades. Throwback to last episode. And I gave him an A only because, I am all for the Joel Embiid hype train. It's just that the last couple games of the series, I know he was playing with torn meniscus. I know that. But he just, last few games he was very for me, so.
Okay. He did average more turnovers than assists. Nearly 4 turnovers a game, only 3.5 assists.
So,
Joel had a good playoffs.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
he
give him
he
an
had
A.
a great playoffs. Don't get it twisted.
No
at
doubt.
all.
Don't get it twisted. And then
Oh yeah,
Seth Curry. That man.
Seth Curry was great
19
in the
a game.
playoffs. Great in the playoffs. I could have
Could not
easily
miss.
given him an A, but I wanted Joel Embiid to have his own. I wanted Joel Embiid to have his own tier, so
Yep.
I gave Seth Curry an
That's
A
fair.
minus.
That's fair.
He had that
Respect.
130-point
I
game in the
respect that.
playoffs. Wow, that was fantastic.
Yeah, Seth Curry, the thing that was interesting about him, I want to say, I ran through it when we did our regular season episode last week, just running through box scores. And I think Seth only had 2 to 3 20-point games in the regular season. And in the playoffs, he almost averaged
I did
20.
not know Seth Curry could score the ball like that. Like, when I was watching him play, I knew he was a great shooter when we traded for him in the offseason. I knew he was a great shooter. I knew he was a pretty good scorer as well, but when I saw that, I was like, Seth Curry, who are you? Did you turn into Steph? Did you turn into Steph for a game? That was crazy.
He was good, man. He was good. I mean, shot over 50% from 3, which isn't, like, it's not surprising because, like you said, he's a good shooter. We've known that career, like, around 45%. The dude's good, and he did some stuff off the dribble. He's able to get others involved a little bit.
He's a pretty good playmaker.
Shout out to Seth Curry.
Yeah.
Big time, man. Big time. I mean, it would have been a worse playoffs without him. No doubt. No doubt.
Yeah,
all right, those are good.
solid.
Those are good grades. Can I put you on the spot for another grade? Doc Rivers.
Man. Yeah.
Playoffs.
And
then we'll get into some of that.
C plus.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
I don't know. You could maybe argue B. I would go C plus, maybe C. Honestly,
I'm here for that. So let's get into that a little bit. So what went wrong? I've broken this down into 3 categories. 1 is coaching. 2 is just like overall team scheme, whatever, and then 3 is individuals. So from a coaching standpoint, the biggest thing that sticks out to me and why Doc Rivers deserves a C at best is the rotations that we ran. You mentioned it already, 10-11 deep in a Game 7. Now, you and I have talked about it on this podcast, like, especially coming into the playoffs, we said, okay, with the bench that we have, it's kind of hard to pick an odd man out. We trust our guys on the bench, and not to say that I don't, but like to play 11 guys in an elimination game. There were games where the Nets and the Bucks were playing 7. There was a game the Nets
Suns
had,
run
I
8,
think,
dude.
where a
Suns
bench
run 8 guys.
Yeah.
Bucks have run 8 guys,
Yep.
7 guys. It's because they have 3 solid bench players that they can depend on a nightly basis. The Sixers barely had 2. They barely had 1 at times. That's the issue. Like, I understand that the players can be inconsistent, but if you're Doc Rivers, how do you not have your rotation set come playoff time?
Yeah.
That's the point of the regular season. Test things out, see what works, see what doesn't work, eliminate what doesn't work. Doc Rivers is the opposite of that. He was still experimenting with lineups.
Played everybody.
That's how you're supposed to do. I know that, and I'm not even near an NBA coach.
So do you think, like, I mean, you bring up an interesting point of, okay, these teams, play 7-8. They know who they are. They know their roles. I mean, we had probably, I mean, there's probably stats to check this, but like, we had Shake check in the first quarter in games. We had Shake check in for the first time in third quarters. We had guys check in for the first time in second quarter. Like, you literally, it seemed like, and we literally as fans had no idea who was coming in and when they were coming in. And none of these other solid teams in the playoffs have dealt with that. To be fair, Danny Green going down had to change some things. But, so do you think that, who's to blame more? Is it Doc Rivers for trying to figure out who's going to be hot, and the only way you can figure out who's going to be hot is that you play them? Or is it the players for just not playing well when their number's called? Like, where's the balance in that?
I'd say it's. No. It does make
Does that make sense?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I'd honestly say at times it was equal. At times it was players stinking it up, and at times it was Doc Rivers just putting players in at wrong times, or just not putting in players at all and just running with bench units for too long, which again he was doing in the regular season. I think most of the time it was equal, honestly, because our bench was very inconsistent this season. Now we have some good bench players, but they were inconsistent. I'm mostly referring to Shake, who I love Shake Milton, but he had a very inconsistent season, and that did not really change in the playoffs, unfortunately. And then he just spread it to the whole bench. So,
right. So to Doc's credit, a little bit, it was hard to know who to put in and who was going to come in and play well.
That's fair.
Now, again, I'm not saying Doc's rotations were great because they weren't. Highly questionable. Highly, we're playing 10 guys in an elimination game. Why? But, if Shake has a bad game in Game 6, or I don't even know if that's actually what happened, but, hypothetically, Shake has a bad game in Game 6, Game 7, he's going to try Maxey out. Maxey has a bad start to Game 7, he's going to try Shake out. He's got to mix it up a little bit, and I guess he was comfortable doing that. And but you just wish that whoever it's going to be, it could have been Shake Milton, it could have been Matisse Thybulle, it could have been Ferk and Dwight, 9 at most, and that is your bench for the playoffs. And it just wasn't that. It's just not the case. There was no flow. And times in the regular season, you had a better understanding of who's checking in and when than you did in the playoffs.
Gosh.
And I can't say I've seen that watching other teams in the playoffs. So that's my biggest thing with Doc. I don't know if you have anything else regarding, his coaching throughout the playoffs.
No, honestly, you put it really nicely. I just think, and it's obvious, but a lot of the issues. I won't say a lot of the issues because obviously this team had issues, but some pretty glaring issues came from Doc Rivers, unfortunately.
Sure. All right, and then from a team standpoint, just as a whole, collectively on the floor, before we talk about individuals and wrap it up, anything there? We lost a 7-game series against the Atlanta Hawks, a team that you and I still know and think that are not better than the Philadelphia 76ers. So what happened? What went wrong from a team standpoint?
I think I saw a quote from Danny Green himself, actually. He said, the Sixers didn't take the Hawks seriously enough until it was too late. And yes.
Okay.
That's it.
Period.
I agree, and you could see it, and that's exactly what happened.
Mm-hmm. You saw it in Game 1.
They were just exactly, and I feel like that's been an identity issue with the Sixers. Now they got better this regular season; they got better with it, but the Sixers do that. We've seen it before, and it sucks, but they do it, and they did it again, which is a big reason why they lost. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep. To me, on the court, defending Trae Young, defending the pick and roll, defending the lob / floater that they could run, and it's not something that's easy, I guess, to defend. They do it all year. Trae Young scores more on floaters than anybody in the NBA, but it was just frustrating to watch that during a series, watching just breakdown after breakdown defensively, watching Danny Green in Game 1 chase Trae Young around. All you saw is the back of Danny Green's head, or all he saw was the back of Trae Young's head, and that's all we saw on TV. And we fixed that. Ben was on Trae a lot more. Some ticky-tack fouls. We're not going to get into that. But, defending Trae hurt us. Kevin Huerter, though. Game 7 hurt us. Seth Curry on him wasn't working, and to Doc, I don't know what the solution is. You want Seth in there, and if they're going to get matchups with Seth on him, but late in the game, Huerter was getting what he wanted and doing what he wanted, and that was frustrating to watch. But how many offense subs can you make where you throw Matisse in there, and then you throw Ferk and Seth in when you're on offense? You can't do that every time. But regardless of us not having a solution, that is part of what went wrong. Is that he killed us.
Very, very true. Very true.
So, There's probably a few more things. Ben Simmons. Okay, we'll go to individual. Ben Simmons killed us.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons had a 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio, but he shot 33% from the free throw line, averaged 11, 12 points. I forget the numbers now. We mentioned them episodes ago. His fourth quarter shot like 3 shots total in 7 quarter number 4s of the 7-game series. Ben Simmons hurt us. That was an issue. Who else?
Really.
Who else you want to throw on blast?
We're talking about Shake Milton's inconsistencies again. He definitely didn't help us. I mean, Danny Green getting hurt didn't help either. But you don't want to make excuses. But Danny Green definitely would have had an impact on the series, I think. And then
sure. He went down in Game 3, or
no? I think it was.
Was it during Game 3? Because he played 8. He played 8 games. Meaning that he played 5 in the first round, and then Game 3 he got injured during the game, I guess, or was it after? Was it?
Okay. Yeah, I think it was Game 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So that hurt, no doubt.
Yeah. Oh man.
Not that we couldn't have won that series without Danny Green, because we could have, obviously, but sure would have helped for him to be there. I don't even know. Joel Embiid's turnovers late. Some questionable shots from Joel at times. I remember one. I don't even remember what game it was. I think it was in Atlanta. He was cold. Minute and a half left. He chucks up a 3. Must have been Game 4. It must have been Game 4 because we lost Game 4. We could have gone up 3-1. Minute and a half. Joel had a terrible fourth quarter. I don't even know what the score was. We're losing by 2 maybe. Joel chucks up a 3 from the top of the key with a minute and a half. I'm like, what are you doing? And we end up throwing that one away. It's like things like that even that, literally just right now I think of, that hurt. You have a chance to go up 3-1. We know what happened in Game 5. The series should have been over in 5 games, and it was very close to being over in 5 games. And then we have to go to Atlanta on a Friday night for a must-win. What is that? What went wrong? What happened? How did we get here? But we did. And then you drop Game 7.
Crazy.
In the Wells Fargo Center. Now I'm upset. I don't know. What else? Anything else?
I'm kind of ready to go be upset now.
Now we're upset.
No,
I know. My bad.
Oh my gosh.
But that's the Sixers season. That's what went wrong in the playoffs. We touched on it. Next episode, before I forget, I might have said this earlier, but next episode will kind of feature some, again, off-season stuff. Before we get into the heat of the off-season and trades and free agent signings are happening, we want to give our take on some ideal off-season. What do we desire for the Sixers off-season to look like? What's realistic? What's a reach? What's going to help? What's not going to help? That kind of stuff. So I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be fun.
No doubt. And I think you'll have some posts of that on Trust the Love beforehand, so people can get a preview, and then we'll come on here and discuss it. So it'll be good. All right, that's a wrap. This is Planet 76.
Send it to your...
Tell a friend.
Anybody. Show it to your dog. I don't care.
Anybody. I don't care. Send it to your friend in Portland. Tell him Damian Lillard's on the way. All right, we'll see you next time. You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.